Let's continue tweaking our foot plants from frames 50 to 75. We'll bring our attention to the back left leg. We'll want it to shift over to a more comfortable position before the character moves rapidly to his left. So looking at that right foot, that starts to come over after frame 40. So we can go to frame 41 and press Shift W to set a key on that back leg. The right foot plants at 50, so we could go to 51. We'll take this key on 50, move it to 51, and let's just add a key there. We also want to keep in mind the line of action that we're choosing, again, for the leg as it moves over, and we want to avoid twinning poses or symmetrical poses, so we can have a more natural look to the animation by avoiding those. Alright, so the character's now starting to shuffle to his left. We'll want the foot planted until 55 or about 56 to add offset. So we'll, from 51, middle click on 56, press Shift W. Then that right leg comes over and plants on 60, so we'll go to 61 and have that back left leg move over and up. Okay, now that that's done, we'll want that leg to be planted till about 63. So we'll middle click from 61 to 63, Shift W, and move the foot over on 66. So move it over, move it down to make sure it's planted. Then that plants until 68. So we'll middle click, Shift W, and let's have it actually move over to its position on 75 a little bit sooner. So the right leg plants on 71, so we can go to 72 and move this key on 75 to that frame. Alright, great. So we can look at this even in a top view. Okay, and a 3/4 view. Great. Alright, let's go ahead and start moving on to the middle legs. Can start with the middle left. And looking at this, seems that we can, remember we want to keep in mind the back leg, so let's have it plant until 42. So we'll take the key on 50, move it to 42. And then have it plant on, let's say 40 or 52. So about 10 frames after. We'll just move it back, and then we'll want to keep it planted until 57. So we'll middle click from 52 to 57, Shift W. And the foot's kind of sinking down, so what we could do on 52 is make sure that there is a key on all of our translate values. Just press Shift W, and then middle click on 57, press Shift W, and then the foot will stay planted then. That back leg plants at 61, so we could have the middle plant at 62. Moving over and being mindful of the poses that we're choosing. Okay, so it shifts over and should plant until 64. So we'll middle click from 62 to 64, Shift W. Again, making sure on 62 that we have keys set on all translate attributes so the foot doesn't slide underneath. We'll probably want to make sure that it is planted as well, so let's do that now. And then middle click on 64 to make sure we set that key in. Back leg plants at 66, so we'll have the middle leg plant at 67. We don't want it moving again in a linear path, so we'll make sure that we offset it, not just move it in the translate X. And another thing we'd want to keep in mind is how the character is shuffling. We can see in the top view it's at more of an arc, so that's going to determine how he plants his foot as well. Okay, so on 67 we'll want to hold that key until 69. So we'll middle click from 69, or on 69, from 67, and plant the key. Plants on 72. So on 73 we'll go there and have it plant. Then we can get rid of this key on 75. Okay, so there's that middle leg on the left side. We can go ahead and work on the right side. So in the next lesson we can then work on the in-betweens, having the legs rise. So looking at that back leg, see that the middle leg here starts to move back at the same time it is. So let's take this key on 50, move it to 51 to offset that. Then it plants on 56. We'll go to 57 and plant that middle leg. And we'll put it a little bit closer into the body so it can have a nice push off as character is moving to its left. So we'll have the foot plant at 62. So we'll middle click from 57 to 62, Shift W. And here's a good example where we'll need to offset it a little bit more, because notice the extension that we're getting. So let's say we bring this key to possibly 60 from 62. And we'll have it plant at 64, one frame after that back leg. Could also consider moving our pole vectors. So move this forward. Let's make sure that leg is not extending too much, and it sure isn't, so that's just fine. But we want to see where it should plant, or how long it should plant for. So that's going to be all the way till about 67. So from 64 we'll middle click on 67. And we could have it come over on about frame 70. I'll set it a little bit here. Move it over. Look at our pole vector, maybe move that forward a little bit more. And then we can basically take this pose on frame 70 and just middle click on 75 to keep the foot planted. So let's go ahead and select the foot on 70. We'll middle click on 75, press Shift W. Okay, let's see if we like what we're getting. If we need to make any tweaks, we sure can before we move on. So we'll just zero out the visibility of our control objects and look at this from different angles. Let's try a top view. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. It almost appears that that middle leg, the pole vector can be offset just a little bit more. This is moving over, so maybe on frame 60 we'll go to the middle leg's pole vector and just move that forward. So we have a little bit more of an interesting pose in the top view. Let's see if we can delete this key on 64, that same control, and yeah, I think that's going to look nice. Okay, well, we'll stop the lesson here then and work on the in-betweens for the legs in the next.